Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the show that holds only the highest regard for the movie theater concession stand. And I'm talking about everything from hot dogs to popcorn to Reese's Pieces, Milk Dugs, and all the ices in between. Yes, you are tuned in to Dad's Turn to Talk, which is the
Get some cheese and crackers, some of those little cocktail weenies.
Uh-oh. Something just popped up there.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Be quiet, Josh. Everybody else is going to hear it. So
Exactly. Watch it. So I just lost my train of thought. Let me get it back. Right. This is the show that talks about only the most important aspects of fatherhood. And by that, I mean pretty much anything we wish to talk about because what can we do? It's our show. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's right.
So I am joined here by two gentlemen and scholars, the esteemed colleagues of this program. Let me introduce you to the first, who can't wait to hear your liberal message in your next movie, the one and only Bob. Hello, Bob.
hello, how are we doing tonight?
How are you, sir?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing even better after Josh sent me a clip of his golf shot today. In fact, I want to show the unedited version of that right now, if that's okay.
Please do.
I'm so hot.
So as you can see, he had a pretty good golf shot there. So that made my day when I got to see that.
I think J.K. Simmons is my new favorite actor. All right.
But that was unedited, of course. I mean,
unedited, yes.
Very unedited, yeah.
Speaking of that one gentleman you saw golfing, I'd like to introduce you to a man who, if you're alone, angry, and have a skin condition, you're probably dealing with the one and only Josh. Josh, hello.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I was so glad you're moderating tonight. You are the best, Bob. Great to see you, my friend. Why don't you take the hat off? Let's see what's underneath that hat there, big eye. Come on.
Shut up!
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, hide behind your green screen. I'm doing great, though, Derek. I'm doing great. I'm ready for a great show. It's been a great week. How are you, my friend?
Living the dream, moving the movement. It is, you can tell it's spring down here because at about, let's say 6:30 most nights, the fog starts to roll in and it gets cold again. But during the day, it's just lovely. So feel free to come on up and head out by about 6:30. You guys are going to be fine.
Nice. We should do a podcast from San Francisco one day.
You're more than welcome to. I don't think Bob's going to want to do that. That's too much liberal message for him.
heck no. I like being here in the free state of Texas.
The free state.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
All right. Well, what do you say we get on to the topic of the evening? Folks, they say variety is the spice of life. And you'll notice within our first two episodes that we had a tendency to jump around from topic to topic. I'm sure we'll do that in the future episodes as well, but tonight we decided to change this up, and with variety being the spice of life, gentlemen, let's make this dish a little Cajun, shall we? We're going to talk about one topic this evening, and one only, and you're going to like the way this suit fits. Tonight we're talking about the Rocky movie franchise. That's right, folks, it's all things Balboa, all things Italian stallion this evening. I'd like to begin, and forgive me, gentlemen, I'm going to speak on your behalf. If you are a red-blooded American man around our age, probably even a little bit older, and you don't like these movies, you're most likely a communist, and I'd like for one to have a background check.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong there, Derek. I mean, Rocky is the quintessential American hero. I mean, you can't get more Americana than Rocky.
No. And little notes about the movie franchise history here. Be it that it doesn't seem like it, it actually lasted 30 years, gents. 1976 to 2006. 30 on the dot. and took in a total box office between the combined 6 movies of $1.3 billion. That's billion with a B.
Wow.
And we've gotten to know so many consistent characters through these movies that we've all known and fell in love with. Of course, the incomparable Sylvester Stallone as the champ himself, Rocky Balboa. The lovely Talia Shire as Adrian, the love of the champ's life. We've gotten to know Burt Young as Paulie, the drunken corner man, because that's how you want your corner. Of course, the trainer, the one and only Burgess Meredith, Mickey. Gentleman we lost, unfortunately, too soon. Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed, the arch nemesis yet best friend of the champ. And my personal favorite, Tony Burton, playing the one and only Duke, the trainer of Apollo and the champ, as we go through the movies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
You forgot the most important character, though.
Who was that?
You don't know?
Well,
You know?
That came. I was waiting for that. You can't just you knew it.
It's the most important character here now.
We'll get
Mr.
into
George
that.
Washington
Why? There's one-off characters here too that we have to talk about. Folks, like Bob said, there really is nothing more American than the Rocky Balboa series. Now, I'd like to kind of start off just by talking about your first experiences or our first experiences and our introductions to Rocky. How you guys first caught on to Rocky? What were your first experiences with it? Either can start. Take it away.
Bob,
Go
you
ahead,
go.
Josh.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, I'll go. So it's funny.
I await the word of Vigo.
Thank you. Let me know when I
Go ahead,
start.
Josh. Go ahead.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah,
You need
go ahead.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
I'm waiting for your word here. Come on.
Uh, so I thought about it today, and I actually remember my first image of Rocky was not the original Rocky, was actually Rocky 4, and was when Apollo died. And you have that scene with, Rocky with the towel, and he drops the towel at the very end. I always remember that. And so, that stuck with me, and then ended up going back. And I remember I had all the VHS tapes of it and just fell in love with it. Rocky is the true underdog story. Nobody had given him a chance. Even in real life, the odd makers were not giving Sylvester Stallone a chance. They wanted to cast somebody else in the role, and he stuck to his guns.
Yep.
And he said, "No, I am doing this movie." He even sold his dog for a couple weeks or something.
That's right.
Until they got the
Mhm.
movie made, and it was just such an amazing, franchise. But yeah, literally, I just remember that scene in Rocky 4 as really my first image. I mean, it came out 1984, Derek?
The first one?
Yeah, no, the
No.
fourth one.
Well,
No,
the
the
fourth
fourth
one came
one.
out in 85. 85.
So
We'll get
I
into
don't
that.
know. I don't know how I watched it. I don't know if I was in the theater or if it was at home, but I was, totally hooked and, loved all of them and
Mhm.
remember watching them over and over and over again.
Very good. And to you, Bob. Your first movie.
For me, I don't really remember per se how I started Rocky, but I do remember the one that comes to my mind, at least the furthest back that I remember. And this is going to sound weird. It's actually the scene in Rocky 3 where Rock is sitting down with Mickey, and Mickey's explaining to him that he had handpicked the fighters, and you have Rocky turning around saying, "Why'd you do it, Mick?" And for some reason, that is the scene I can remember seeing first. I don't know why that's what comes to
interesting.
my mind, but so obviously Rocky 3 was somehow the one I was first exposed to. But that's the one that I remember the most. Like I said, Rocky is probably the quintessential American hero. In fact, he's easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite, movie character of all time. And he's arguably the greatest film hero in history. And I say arguably because obviously there's so many good ones out there, but you can make a strong case for Rocky, especially given how long the series lasted, how many sequels it's spun off from it, as well as a spin-off series. So with all of that, you can easily say that he's arguably the greatest film hero, and it's just something I always loved watching growing up. It didn't matter which one of the series. I loved every single one of them.
Good story. My first experience with Rocky, actually, I can't even really call it an experience. I remember images, right? Rocky with the American trunks on. That's the first
Yeah.
one that came into my head. And I'm pretty sure that was number 4 where we first saw that. It is number 4.
Actually, he wore the American trunks in part 3.
Did he?
Yes,
He
wore them
did.
in
He did.
episode 3.
Apollo gave it to him.
Remember, he turns around and says, "Hey, Apollo, these are the colors that you wore in our first fight together. I can't wear your colors."
Derek, are
That's a good
you
one.
thinking, is your image the one on the cover, though, of Rocky 4 with Duke holding him up and he's got the American
There,
flag and
there's
everything?
that. Yeah, because
Okay.
here's the problem. I have clips, like images in my head,
Right.
but I never saw like a full movie until much later because
Okay.
my mom thought that it was too violent, it was too bloody and too
Interesting.
real, so she wanted me to stay away from it until I was about, I want to say 12 or 13, and
wow.
I started catching. I think somehow I got a hold of clips of Rocky 2 first because I had HBO as a kid. I saw a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to watch, but then I started realizing,
You too, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Life
yeah.
is good. So
And yet we won't let our kids watch anything.
nope,
I know.
nope, that's
It's
how it
very-
goes. Sorry, we get the right.
It's very different.
Yeah. So when I think back, I remember asking my mom and my dad, like, I'm like, wait, how many of there are these? They're like, there's like 4. And I wanted to start from the beginning. So that's when I saw the first one. And then I got to finally play catch up with all of them. And the fourth one just rings true in my head of the first images because I saw Drago for the first time too with the blonde hair. That big Russian boy who was not nice. We'll get into that later. But that was my first image of it. But I do remember the music, the I Have the Tiger, so on and so forth, playing when you watched Rocky 2. Rocky also, not the number 2. That's like my first story with it. And the first Rocky, I remember him drinking the eggs.
Yes. Yep.
And me being a fat
Did
kid,
you ever try it?
yeah, no, I thought as the fat
Mm.
kid, I thought if I took down a bunch of eggs that would make me ripped. And no, my mom caught me like doing it, and she immediately threw the glass out and said, "Don't ever do that again."
Really? Did you do it, Bob?
Of course. How do you think I got
I
the
never did.
physique that I have today?
Oh, jeez. Good
That's a
God.
champ physique.
It's like you ate a whole omelet instead of.
You see, here's the
eggs. Jeez.
problem. You see, I did eat all those eggs. I just mixed them in with the cake batter.
With or without the butter? Probably both.
Absolutely,
What-
both. You're gonna
what
do it.
was
You got to do it
the-
right.
Yeah.
This is random. What was the theme song at the beginning of Rocky 4 with the gloves coming in? Was it
It was
A
Eye of the
Burning
Tiger.
Heart? Or was it Eye of the Tiger?
Yeah, it's Eye of the Tiger.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So yeah, that was
Because
my,
remember, they have the gloves with the USA glove and then the
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 Russian.
Soviet glove, and then
Right.
it goes right into the recap of Rocky 3,
Mm,
which is why
that's
they did
right.
Eye of the Tiger again.
got it.
Does
Got
it
it.
start?
Okay.
Does 4 start off with the secret fight that Apollo and
Yeah,
Rocky
it shows a
Yeah.
recap of
Yeah.
the secret fight as well. Just it just pretty much recaps the fight and then the ending of Rocky 3. And then
Got
that's
it.
when he shows back up at the house, and the little kid's like, "Oh, where'd you get that hat?" "Oh, a friend gave it to me. You like it?" So no, but we'll get into that later. Yeah.
After watching some of the fight sequences too, I could see why my mom didn't want me watching that so young.
Well, especially in that movie. Good
So
God.
that's brutal.
Rocky 4?
Yep.
My God.
Well, that was a wonderful overview and introduction from all our perspectives.